Good morning, traders. How's everybody doing on this fantastic Wednesday? Coming to you live from southeast, kind of dreary, looks like maybe rain, Florida. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin and some other things this morning. We did have a PPI number that came in flat on the zeros, and the market liked it. We had a spike on the S&P 500 back above the weekly open, back above the Monday midpoint, back above the previous weekly midpoint, then spiking to the upside. Bitcoin is currently testing the weekly open as resistance. As you can see on the chart, it is also going to be daily supply. If you are trying to short this thing, please, by all means, take profits quicker, please. Because when something's trending to the upside, your shorts are less likely to work out with downside continuation. Now, I'm not saying you won't catch continuation occasionally. I'm just saying it's less likely to work, right? Because you're in an uptrend. So the buyers have control of the price. So at any point, you can have your move going lower and then it just reverses in your face. So be careful if you're shorting it at the daily supply zone. It is there. It is beautiful. It looks like an absolute perfect place for a short. We look at the 30-minute time frame chart. You can see that you did lose your intraday moving averages there. Your 21 exponential is the yellow. Your 100 EMA is going to be blue. You can see that it acted as resistance there. It acted as resistance there, but you did not get continuation here. Instead, you broke out there. So right here, buyers are going to be stacked up. Now, that does not mean that they will get their move, right? We can just see that that's where buyers would be. It's also a look where you came into support. Tell me that those fib extension levels are not the fib extension levels. That, like, yeah. I know what I'm doing. But anyways, you also have one of those coming in here, kind of acting as a slight support over there. It's still early. The market hasn't opened yet. The New York session for the Forex market usually opens at 8, but the New York Stock Exchange opens at 9:30. So we're still waiting on that. But as you can see right now, you're currently testing this. Let's go to the fart coin, because why? We love trading fart coin. It moves, man. It moves. You can trade with size in this thing, and it moves really good. You get good fills, all the good stuff. That's all the stuff we like, right? We like to be able to get in, get out at the prices we specify. Retesting weekly open currently. That could act as resistance here today. As you can see on Fartcoin, you've been chopping sideways here in a larger weekly range. We go out to the weekly time frame. You can see we're trading in last week's range. So we did break out to the upside earlier this week, but we were not able to sustain that rally. Is that important? Well, yeah. You would generally want to see the bulls maintain control once you get the breakout. So we fail back into the range, and so far we've been trading pretty range bound since. Let's go to the hourly real quick. But it does look as if though we found support here at the July VWAP. The July VWAP. This is the volume weighted average price for the month of July. It is important. Buyers are defending it. So this morning I took a long when we came in for a test down here on this 4-hour candle. Let me show you here real fast. On this 4-hour candle, basically we were retesting into this candle's range. If you go to the 2-hour, you're going to see right here, this 2-hour candle was pushing into the previous 2-hour candle's range. So I wanted to see how it reacted around this candle's high. Or if we got to the open and started to show force under that price, then I don't want to buy it, right? I don't want to be a buyer because we may be coming back down to the VWAP, and that would be a better buy. But as you can see, we traded down here and it wedged up, man, on the tighter time frame. Let's drop down to the 1 minute. Keep in mind these two lines. We're gonna get rid of this. Let me pull up my object tree here just so I can. All right, so over here, these two lines are right here. That's that 1 hour high, or that 2 hour swing high. And then this was the current 2 hour open. All right. You can see price traded all the way down into this area perfectly. One time framing all the way down to it, and then it started to wedge up. So I was not really loving it because it's under the line that I'm watching for my risk. But I went ahead and entered it, and I got a nice move, and then it retraced back under the line, and then I was like thinking that it was going to break down, so I was hovering over the get out button or the sell button, and then it exploded to the upside. And this is what I didn't want to miss, but you can never time those things, right? Can't ever time it. It looked like at that point it could have went either way, right? I could have got a move like this, but to the downside. And I didn't want to buy if that was the case, because you don't ever want to buy when you have volatile down move candles. Like, this isn't so volatile. This is pretty much just slow, methodic move lower. And then if you look at that on a 15-minute chart, this is not as big as it looks, right? It's not that big of a move at all. Right here. So it's just two candles. So that all that down move on that 1 minute time frame is just two 15-minute candles, not huge. But anyways, it did good. It wedged up and then exploded out of that area. This is your daily open. So once you tag this, you went from being red on the day to neutral, and then it held as support right there. So this would have been a buying opportunity as well. But like I said, it's right now coming into the weekly open, and above that, you're green on the week. Today's Wednesday. Could we have set the weekly low on Fartcoin? It is a possibility. This could be over here your weekly low. Now, obviously, we'll see how today plays out. We can never predict what price will do. We can only use objective price points to manage our risk. And that's all we have control of as traders, our risk. So that's what we're currently looking at on Fartcoin. I am still holding the long position, but I did take profits on it. As it wasn't, it's one of those things, right? You don't really know. You never can know. But now it's a much more manageable position size. I took 80% of the profits off because I was in it for $1,000 or a little over $1,000. I dropped $800 off of the trade. Now I'm in it with a normal size position, and I'll let it rock and roll to the upside. Stop to set to break even. I cannot lose money on the trade. If it comes down and stops me out, I will have made $410 on this trade. So money's in the bank. It just makes things much easier. Because now if it wants to go up for like 10 4-hour candles in a row, boom, I'll just set in it right there. And that position will make more than this position if it does start to go up and break out. I can't anticipate that happening, but I can position myself in anticipation of that happening. We're bringing the fire. That's what he's trying to say. All right, we're just kind of waiting for the open here. But once again, let's go back over to Bitcoin real fast, because that one is currently testing or at an area that people are going to want to sell. You're kind of sitting right at your intra-day VWAP, but you're well above the monthly VWAP here. on Bitcoin. Here's your monthly VWAP. This red line is the trend line that we want to see Bitcoin maintain bullish pressure above. It is the breakout point. Boom, boom, right? It literally holds all the wicks, and this was a legit breakout. So on the weekly time frame, if you remember last week, I said if we close on highs, it's going to look good, right? Look good for upside continuation. So typically, what do you want to do in the next week? Well, if you get a push and you get an open and it pushes into this candle's range, you want to watch the midpoint and be a buyer, right? For a 3-bar continuation pattern. It might not be a 3-bar pattern. It could take 4 weeks to play out. It could take 2 weeks. It could play out instantly. We never know. But typically that's what you look for. You look for a correction into this candle's range. And since you had the breakout, you don't want to be a seller yet. When we become sellers, as if we would have taken out that candle's low, then we would be more inclined to potentially look for a resistance test and then it to break down. But right now, this is still bullish structure. Even if you're this is why looking at small time frames can really put you in a box. It limits the potential to what you could potentially see, right? Just say potential about 4 more times and we'll be there. Potential. Now, you get what I'm saying. If you're looking at the weekly, you already know what your plan is going into the week. So going into next week, you already know what your plan is. So the plan this week was to maintain the midpoint. And as long as that happens, we have to have a bullish bias. On the daily time frame, we had a pretty negative day yesterday, but it closed where? Where did it close? That's what's important here. You want to fib it? Should we fib it? Let's fib it. Let's get rid of this. And let's fib this candle. Let's see where she closed. Just below. Right below it. Ugh. Where's the 200 hours candle? Right here. So this was your close. This little pipsqueak of a candle. Right here. So you literally closed like on it. Right? This morning, the VIX threw me for a whammy because I was looking at delayed data, but as of right now, the VIX is trading under 1722, which is what we want to see. That's the yearly opening range. As long as the VIX is under that, we have a bullish bias on the risk markets. Also, bullish bias on Bitcoin. Until we get a volatility index for Bitcoin, we have to look at the VIX. I hate it. It sucks because the S&P doesn't trade 1-for-1 with Bitcoin. But at some point, because we have Bitcoin ETFs and all this stuff, at some point we'll get a Bitcoin volatility index. Then we'll be able to watch that instead of the VIX. But as long as the VIX is trending lower, we want to be bullish on Bitcoin. There's the midpoint of that breakdown candle, that daily candle. So, basically, you can short up here would be a good short, but just make sure you're not looking for much continuation. You would have to target just above the daily open for the short because the pressure's to the upside. Now we could see a correction today and it could trade because we're trading well above the 21. So we could trade down into it, but in a really bullish environment, I don't want to see that. When we get the bullish breakout, I typically want to see just multiple big bullish candles in a row. Boom, ba boom, boom, right? That's typically when something has bullish momentum. That's what happens. You don't really see pullbacks that often. People usually miss those moves. But for whatever reason, we're getting one. So I leave it up to you to decide what you want to do. I have a bullish bias on Bitcoin, so I don't necessarily want to be looking for the short. And to be honest with you, on an intraday level, if Bitcoin's not closing 30-minute candles under this point, which is intraday support, I'm not looking at the moving average here. You have your intraday VWAP and your 100 exponential here, but I would be basing that off of an objective price point, and that is objectively the lowest 30-minute closure in today's range since the London session, right? I mean, obviously this candle is the lowest 30-minute closure in the daily range, but this was Asia. So we opened, right? You had to move lower, up, and then Asia sold it. Boom. That's as far as they could get with it. And then what happened? You got upside continuation, and here's your London session open. What did London do? So Asia sold it, London bought it. Now we're in New York. So what's New York gonna do? We don't know. But the pressure and the structure says higher. It just is what it is. That doesn't mean it will go higher, right? It just looks like we should be buyers, not sellers. All right. VIX is currently trading under that. Let me go to the VIX and then we'll look for positions here. I mean, I'm not looking to buy or trade Bitcoin today. I'm looking for the alts. I'm looking for a position to trade on the alts because I'm already long Bitcoin. I'm long Bitcoin and I own enough Bitcoin to where $1,000 price swings on Bitcoin hurts. So like I'm over positioned on Bitcoin. So I'll stay long because I don't see any reason to sell. But let's go look at the VIX real quick. Here's your VIX. This is delayed data. We can go look at our VIX over. Oh, Tesla is a buy, by the way, I think. Let me go over there real quick because we did get the bell. Tesla. Tesla's a buy. If you look over here on the daily time frame, we closed the daily yesterday under the 21 exponential moving average. All right. This is what we call a trap. Now, I don't know that it's going to be a trap. So what you can manage your risk by is this point right here. You do not want to be a buyer if you're trading under 312.67 because you can see downside continuation. As long as 312.67 is holding, I would be a buyer. I would be looking for the trap. The reason is because we broke down here and we traded under the triangle for 3 days. Here was the triangle. So if the shorts were going to win, they would have got continuation here. It would have rolled over. They didn't win. They got stopped out. So the buyers took control. Here you go. Boom. Traded closed above the 21. This is a fake out. Move to the downside until it isn't. So until it isn't, you have to treat it as it is. So as long as you're trading above 312.67, I think you can be a buyer on Tesla. If you're trading under that, you're going to be, your stop will be threatened. You can see 100 exponential here. So 30-minute time frame. You look at your 100, how it kind of acts as resistance there, rolls over, and then you break out above it here. Boom, support. Prices go higher. This is a retest breakdown yesterday. So you're right now, yesterday, you're either building in a trap or getting ready to roll over. So, right? I can make the case for both trades. But it's up, right? We got to look to the upside because it failed to break out here or break down. So it wants to, that big triangle is just, you can either look at it as a failed breakdown or you can say, well, it's a bigger triangle, right? That's okay because this is a big move. It's a $100 point or a 100 point move. So when we get the breakout, whether it's above the triangle or below it, we're going to see a potential huge move to catch. So we don't need to rush on Tesla. I don't like that it's right here in the middle of this. This is like the midpoint of your triangle. So if you treat the triangle as a range, because that's all it is, right? You are trading inside of a broad wedge or a broad range, but the range is getting tighter. So when you break out of those things, you generally see continuation because it's going to require a lot of volume and momentum to break it. So that's where we are. This could be the beginning of another push back to the downside. I can't see into the future. I can't. And since you're range bound, both sides could work. I think the smaller time frames here, the 30-minute time frame says we should be a buyer. So you can stop being a buyer once you're trading under 312.67. You can stop trying to buy it. Because that's all we're ever doing, right? We're trying to get positioned for a move we're anticipating. We can't predict the future. We have to manage our risks, so we can take one long shot at it here and manage our risks down to like 311. So that you could buy it, put a stop loss at about 311. Or if you think it's going to break down, well, then you can sell it. This is yesterday's volume weighted average price. It could act as resistance. Well, here, let's go to the midnight candle because that's what they do. But today you're above the intraday volume weighted average price. So this is going to be your resistance right there. That will be your resistance. If it's going to act as a resistance, that's where I would want to see resistance hold. You can watch 5-minute candles or whatever. But I think the pressure's to the upside because the VIX is bearish. But it could just be looking to build more inside of that bigger broad range or that big triangle. Your choice. I will always have a more bullish bias on risk markets when risk markets are bullish. That's just the way it is. All right, so let's go look at, which I have Fartcoin. It is rejecting, so it is struggling here. Hype is actually potentially testing an area right now for support. The 30-minute here. Daily is you're testing the open. So I mean, higher high, higher high, higher high. I mean, low, damn it, higher low, higher low, higher low. Yeah. Coming off of a pullback, daily res way out there. But right now you're just testing the open, yesterday's high, all that stuff. You've already smoked yesterday's high. So if you're a seller, you don't want to see that. The short that we were looking for on Bonk worked twice, but as you can see today, it is no longer working. And Bonk is an absolute perfect example of why we take profits quick. I sold Bonk here when it tested the yearly open in the first time. I took profits down here. I came live on the morning when it was, and I was like, basically watched the top or the value area high for a potential sell. That was in here. You got a little move to the downside, but this shows you why you don't necessarily want to look to get short and then hold that short in anticipation of continuation or follow through, because when the bulls have it, we typically see this garbage, right? We'll get a move in our favor, but then it just stalls out. It just stalls out. So that's why I tell you, when you're in a bullish market environment, you're better off buying the pullbacks. So clearly, in hindsight, the trade was to be a buyer at support. But, I mean, this would have been support, right? But you broke that. So then this candle, because it is now the lowest close, becomes that support until you close one under it. And you do that until you get a couple candles trading at an obvious support. Second time was later in the day. You could have shorted it, and as long as you didn't hold it, you did good. You made money. But the buyers came back, man, and they came back higher this time. So you would have been waiting and hoping for this to break down, and it just didn't. It slowly, for the rest of the day, went right back there. And what happened after? Boom. So you can see that everybody was selling here. Those yearly opening ranges, they make people do stuff, right? That's why we watch objective prices, because other people do. No matter if you're a buyer or a seller at this line, you have to do stuff. You have to take a position and then you have to manage that position. That's why these levels will help you find your trades better. Help you manage risk, not so much. That's up to you. That's up to you. But right now, bonk does look to be settling down, but it's still so bullish. Could today be like the last day for a while? It could. It has not really been trading sideways. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I guess. I mean, Bitcoin was bearish yesterday. Bonk wasn't. So, bonk's not really trading with the rest of the overall marketplace. It's doing its own thing. Remember, we're not a seller on Bitcoin unless, I mean, I'm not a seller on Bitcoin. Even if it breaks through here today, I'm not a seller. I'm not short Bitcoin. I would rather short Fartcoin or Hypecoin or something like that. So right now, Hype is trying to build in support here. We got 17 minutes on this close. We can mark this via support. Here's the intraday support level. We can mark it like that. And then we can go down on the small time frame and watch it. We don't have to watch it on the 30-minute time frame. We can watch it on the small time frame. If this level is going to act as support, then we want to see multiple 30-second candles build up in here. Or you'll just get a tag of it and then it'll instantly start to trade away. If that happens, we want to be a buyer on Hype. It's the only one that's setting up for us to potentially get positioned. It's the only one that's trading red on the day and at support, right? Nothing else is. So this has to be the one we watch. It is making higher lows here. So, I mean, we like it here. If we lose it, we don't like it. We'll let the sellers have it. When you're a trader, you can't be like, you can't be afraid to not trade, right? Just because you're looking for a trade doesn't mean you should. I'm gonna pull this chart up over here so I can trade it if it holds. It's Hype. HYPE, not Hyper. It's called Hyper Liquid, but it's Hype is the ticker. There is a Hyper ticker. Stay away from that. That's not the one we want. It's not the one we want. It'd be very easy to manage risk here. Right? Because we know where we like it. We know where we don't. And we don't have to take a big loss either. It's so easy. We can just buy it and then exit it if it goes lower. Oh shit, that's a limit order. Never mind, I missed it. Let me put the limit at, let me see, 47.6. It's gonna be 47. I'm gonna put it at 47.69. Limit buy. Confirm. All right, I got a limit buy in on Hype. The 30-second time frame, so don't chase price, guys. On a 1 minute and a 5 minute, this is gonna look like a nothing burger, right? So don't chase price. Just set your limit out there. If you get filled, you get filled. If you don't, oh well. We'll catch it tomorrow or the next day. Hate to lose money more than you like to make money. If you can get yourself into that mindset, it'll be easier for you to sit on your hands and be more of a sniper. Let price come to you, be ready for it, yada yada, that type of stuff. If you miss it, it's okay. You don't chase it. You never see a sniper chasing down its enemy target, right? Because it got in a car and left. No, he stays put. He doesn't move. He waits for it. Come back. We're not chasing these things like Rambo with an M60. That ain't happening. We're going to wait for him to come back. And then we're going to squeeze the trigger gently. Very gently. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. What's up? What's good? What's good? Sup, my man? Can you take a look at Algo? Yeah, we can go look at Algo. I got a limit out there, so if I get filled, I'll know. How's everybody doing? Algo looks good. Algo's popping. It's up. I would say a lot of them are, right? You're testing the day open right now. You're barely bearish on the year. So this is probably what you're rejecting. This is probably what's acting as resistance. You're nice up on the month. Very good. I mean, it looks good. Yeah, I mean, that's why the monthlies, yearly, the year open, quarter open, month open, my favorite 3 times of the year to trade. Because once you're trading at a monthly open, it's like the sky's the limit on these things. You're trading, this is bullish continuation. As long as you hold the midpoint of this current weekly range that you're in, you have to give respect to the bulls. Right? You're right now trading under it. This actually could be a near-term scalp short, but the rest of the market's bullish, man. Right? I hate shorting shit when everything is bullish. So I wouldn't take the short. I would buy Algo if it can test and hold the 618 of the weekly range. Because then that puts the pressure on the buy side for the weekly range. Notice how today, I mean, clearly, see guys, these levels, this could happen for the rest of the day, right? It's up to us as traders to see that happening and realize, hey, this thing could trade sideways still. So if we're going to take a position here, we'll take a position with the caveat, it can still be sideways all day long. We might not make any money, but where would be the best place to take that position? Right here at the daily open? Maybe. I don't know though. I don't know. It's right in the middle. I mean, your guess is as good as mine what it's going to do. But as far as managing risk, you could potentially enter here and throw your stop under this swing low. To me, to be honest, I don't love it. I would rather it be testing the daily open as support above the midpoint of the weekly open or the weekly range. Because okay, so here is when you made the weekly high. Right there's your weekly high. You made the weekly high and instantly you sold off, and you sold off pretty hard all the way back down to the 618. And since that time, since Monday at the London Open, you have literally gone nowhere. It's unchanged. It's been bouncing back and forth in here, trying to, it's basically gathering up all the liquidity. Once it runs out of supply or demand, it will reprice in the appropriate direction. I can't tell you if it's going to run out of supply or demand. I can only tell you where to look for your entry and how to approach that. So we have that 30-minute support zone right here at the 618. There's 8 minutes left on this 30-minute candle's closure. So if you get, like on the next 5-minute open, If you get a big 5-minute push lower back into this down in here, you're going to close under support. No. Oh my God, this is why I'm not a gamer with a mouse. I like controllers. I am not good with a mouse. I try to play Modern Warfare or Call of Duty with a mouse. I get my head blowed off every time. Not quick enough. My response isn't great. All right, so yeah. As long as it's holding the 618 of the weekly range, I like it higher. Under that, then it could be going to make a new weekly low. The weekly low is right here, so it doesn't have to go far. This is your weekly low. This is your weekly high. You're right in the middle of that range. Kind of a difficult trade because it's range bound, but on the longer time frame, it is trending. This is a trending week. We did take out last week's high. We are trading above last week's high. So you are still in a bullish trend. It's just chopping back and forth. So the sellers are here at 29.27. The buyers are at 27.50. You're in the middle of that. So you're trying to say, I think it's going to go up from here. I don't think I would trade this. It's just not, it's not as clear, but I would want to be a buyer as long as it's holding this as support. As long as support is holding, I like it to the upside. That's what I got for you on algo. Let's go back to hype. I am not getting filled yet. We got 5 minutes, or we got 8 minutes, 7 minutes left on 6 minutes, 15 seconds left on a 30-minute close. It did come back lower, but it did not fill me. It didn't get low enough. 47.73. Mine is at 47.69. It needed to go just a little bit lower. Barely missed my limit. So this is doing the same thing that Algo's doing, right? The exact same thing. Nope, this isn't doing the exact same thing. We're trading under last week's high on hype. So Algo's trading above last week's high. So this is different. This structure is different than Algo. Algo is more bullish. You're trading Algo to the upside for the breakout continuation. On this, we did get the breakout, but we did not get continuation. It is pulling back. It is right now trying to suss out whether or not it wants to continue or if it wants to dig deeper. Dig deeper for whatever reason, for a support test. You're well above July's volume weighted average price, so you could see a much deeper correction on hype. Right? So that's what we have. This weekly range is bearish, and it's inside of the previous week's range. But you're bearish for now. So at least this week, not for the entire month of July. For the entire month of July, the bulls have had control. But for this week, who's in control? The sellers. They're in control at least down to 46.50. But on the longer time frames, you're bullish. This is why I'd still like it to the upside. I would look at this as a correction on the weekly. I'd have to be a buyer down to the midpoint of last week's range, which would be way down here because last week was so bullish. And this one has to be blue because that one's up. So you could test all the way down to here. We know that's a possibility that by Sunday you could be trading down to here. So we're trying to buy it at the very top of the range, and the sellers are definitely, they've only allowed it to test the 618 of this week's range once. They haven't been able to get downside continuation, and the buyers are stepping up higher. So this would be like a bear flag, but you would need to break below the trend line, and you would need to see downside continuation. Before, like, I would be able to say, yeah, the sellers are winning the range, so I want to look to sell resistance. Right now, nobody's winning the range. Right now, the sellers did start the range off, right? We got above the highs of last week, but then we fell right back into that range. We got downside continuation, and then it stalled out. So the sellers don't have much conviction. But if you get a break below this, the sellers will have more conviction, right? Then you don't necessarily want to be a buyer, because then you'll be trying to buy into that downside continuation. So I think right now the sellers are waiting to see if price can break below here, and then they'll jump on it again for the breakdown continuation. A measured move on that would give us what? Yeah, it would put us down and make fresh weekly lows. So a breakdown here gives sellers a target of that. So I think if they can't do that, I like it to the upside. I did not get triggered on that. Damn it. Still no trigger on my limit order to the upside. If Bitcoin can stay bullish, I think this will rally. I think we can stop out these shorts, like Bonk has done. All these people up here, all those sellers. I think if we can get above that, we'll see upside continuation, but we have to get above it. So my limit's out there. We'll wait and see what happens with it. We'll go look at some other things. Until then, there's no point in just staring at this chart. We got our plan on it, so we'll watch it. LPT not really doing anything today. Took out yesterday's high. I don't like LPT because it's got expensive funding rate. Let me go see if the funding rate is still super expensive. If it isn't, we can trade it, but okay, so it's backed off. It's not super expensive. So it is tradable, but I don't love it. It's weaker. So this one's weaker. It's bearish on the year. It's up this month, but it ain't up huge, right? So the bulls, so on a lot of other things, we've gotten a nice upside expansion, but on this, we really haven't, have we? We opened the month up, we set a monthly low, and then we've been going higher ever since, but we really haven't been able to get much going, right? So this is probably why you got to break out above this to go. If you break out above this, you probably will go. This thing does move. It can move. This is a very tight, compressed range. You can see how the buyers are stepping up because you're making higher lows. The buyers have been stepping up. You get below $6 and you're going to have a potential breakdown. So if the buyers can hold, let's get rid of March. We don't need March. We got July's open. That's all we care about. We want the weekly open. We're inside of everything. We know that. We can look at the monthly chart and see that. We're still inside May's range. So at best, we just need May. We just need May. And it does look like the sellers are winning on this one. But like I said, with everything being bullish, that is a very, very, very scary trade to take. Yesterday is a bullish, nice, huge bullish move because you opened way up here yesterday. This daily open is going to be this day's open forever. It's never going to change. So what we can see happened yesterday is we traded low all day, took out the previous day's low, found support at the 21 exponential, and then closed up on highs. Well, we would be looking for upside continuation today. We wouldn't be bearish today. 4-hour support is here for now. But we're trading under that, so we have to go lower. 30-minute support is here. 682. As long as that's holding, I think you have to have more of an upside swing on it. This is also down on the day. Farcoin is now up 2% or 2% on the day. So Farcoin looks good. It's holding off the sellers. You tested the weekly open, rejected. This is the type of stuff I don't like to see if I'm holding a short, because I would have shorted the weekly open. I would have wanted to see this 30-minute candle close bearish and on the lows. You didn't get that. I think Farcoin's going to rip today or tomorrow. All right. Still haven't gotten that fill on hype. See, this is what I mean by trading a choppy sideways price. Just because we get a fill, it doesn't mean we're going to make 1 cent. This thing could be choppy all day. It might not be done yet. Once it gets done, it will reprice. The bears are waiting for the breakdown, or they're just hitting it on the 618, the 50%. So they have two places to look to attack the short. I wouldn't. I think I would rather see the breakdown and then maybe try to jump on the momentum somewhere. And I think the pressure's, we gotta be long. Hey, what's up? What's going on? Farcoin really looks ready for expansion on the weekly and monthly. Yeah, I like it. It does. I like it. I think so too. Farcoin's up on the year, so the yearly bias is up. You're trading above July's midpoint. I love that. I don't like that we rejected last week's high, but as long as we can hold that midpoint, I still like it. I think the trade has to be, I think you have to be long until the sellers prove it. The sellers couldn't prove it here, so why would they be able to prove it here? I mean, if the buyers are just getting skittish at buying these high prices, that could be it, right? We never know. But I think with it looking like this, with this obvious failed breakdown here and this such a bullish reaction, yeah, it does look like, I mean, the sellers have been hitting this thing ever since the trend line. This is a wedge or a channel on a larger time frame. It's just a big channel. So the sellers have a clear and obvious place to look for their entries. Weekly open is the same. It's the same structure we have on Bitcoin right now, right? It's daily supply. It's also the weekly open. So it is a place where sellers, and they see this breakdown here and close below support. So, and this day is inside yesterday. You didn't take out yesterday's low or yesterday's high. So you're an inside daily candle, which means you're a range bound choppy candle. So the sellers are absolutely shorting there based on daily supply. I doubt they know, most of them, I doubt they know it's the weekly open also, but they got that going for them. So take away the moving average down here, and I could make a case for the short on Farcoin. If the moving average was up here, I would be looking for the short on Farcoin, not the long, right? So if you had something like this, then I would absolutely be selling this. But we don't have that. We have July's volume weighted average price down here and the 21 exponential. So the bulls are clearly in control of near-term price. But whether or not we're going to be able to hold is another thing altogether. This is a meme token, so I mean, there is no real use case to it as far as I'm aware. It just, people love trading it because it offers up great liquidity and it freaking moves. That's why. So it's a very good trading asset. Very good trading asset. It just doesn't trend often because of that. So you're right now fighting the shorts are trying to win and the longs are trying to win, which that's what makes a market, right? That's what we love to see. That's what gives us our big ass moves also. So like if the bulls stall out here, the sellers are going to jump on it. They're going to be looking for downside continuation. Since you got to come all the way down here, I wouldn't be so quick to jump on it because you could just make a higher low in this area. So I'm not going to chase it to the downside. I just got filled on height. Not loving that. I would rather have missed it. It's coming right back down. You bastard. Move to the uptrend. I'm just kidding. We'll see what it does. So since we just got filled on hype, we got to put our focus on hype. We've already made money on Fartcoin. We're not worried about Fartcoin. Fartcoin's going to either continue up and we're going to make more money, or it's going to come down and stop us out. But we've already made money. That's money in the bank. Now we're on hype. I just got filled. So I'll probably hold it unless it starts to show me downside continuation below this larger formation trend line here. Because if we break that, the sellers will probably jump on it for the momentum alone. This is more of a downside formation. A rising wedge is typically looked at as a bearish formation. We can go look at Bitcoin old school, back when I told everybody to be a seller on Bitcoin. Based on that. Wait, where's the other chart? Oh, there it is. Back in 2022. You remember that? This is where I made the tweet. This is the tweet. Falling wedges break out to the upside. Rising wedges typically break out to the downside. And we know what happened on Bitcoin. It broke out to the downside and kept going. Well, that same thing plays out on small time frame charts as well. So you can bet your bottom dollar sellers are waiting for hype to break down, and if it does, they'll jump on it. They'll scalp the momentum to the downside. We'll see if it breaks down, but we'll just hold it. We'll see what happens here. I can never tell you if a trade will work. I can only tell you to manage your risk. If it gets downside continuation, we don't want to be in it. We'll jump out of it. We'll take a small loss. Not a big, gigantic loss, and we're definitely not going to hold it down here praying to God that it goes back up, because we know the sellers are liable to jump on it. So we'll see if we make any money on this one or not. Something, man, we looked at algo? Yep. Okay, so that's just you lucky duck. I don't think it has anything to do with luck, my friend. I mean, it does, because I can't predict the future. So clearly it does have a little bit to do with luck. But positioning myself, knowing what to look for, when to look for it, that's all stuff I'm teaching you. That's not luck. Good morning. Can you look at APLD, says Buster. What's up, Buster? Oh, I'm typing your name in? My bad. APLD. That's a stock. I'll look at the stock. If it's not a stock, tell me, and I'll look at the crypto. But it's a stock too. Applied Digital Corporation. I mean, it's up on the year. Looks good. It's not a very momentous thing. I mean, it's $10, right? You're barely up on the month. This don't look great. I mean, I would rather it be above the monthly open than below it. Let's see if you can get upside continuation from there. You're trading above last week's high. That's good. It needs to hold the midpoint of this weekly range, which would be around 975. If it can do that, I like it higher. The longer term chart doesn't look good. It's not a very good trending chart, right? It's basically, it's worth like $350 and $12. That's what the market says. I mean, if you're expecting a breakout, you got earnings coming up soon. Maybe that helps. Is this also a crypto? Because I don't like that chart. No, it isn't a crypto. It is not a crypto. Did you accidentally put a P instead of a G? It's not a crypto. APLD, not a crypto. It's a stock, and it's ugly. All right, Tesla, please. Yeah, we have a semi-bullish bias on Tesla today. We want to see if it can hold the daily 21 exponential moving average. It doesn't look great because we put in this bearish candle yesterday, breaking back under the 50. We're testing the 50 right now. So if you're a long-term investor on Tesla, this is a pretty decent place to look. And then if you close under that today, then you can just exit before the market closes. And you'll manage the money so that way it's a small loss. If you're looking for the trade, we have a near-term bullish bias on Tesla. We think we're going to see an up day on Tesla. Because you just had the breakdown that failed on Tesla. These 3 days right here, it failed to break down, and then you got upside continuation. It failed to roll over at the midpoint of the gap fill also. So basically the midpoint of the gap fill is kind of going to act as near-term support. Post-market yesterday, the sellers were in control of yesterday's range. But after the market closed, the bulls bid it right back up. So as long as you're trading above 312.67, which is this bottom line down here, we like it to the upside today. If it breaks under that, then we don't like it to the upside anymore. As long as it's above this, we like it higher. Below this, well, it could go lower, and we don't like it higher anymore. I wouldn't short it, but yeah. So you're looking to buy intraday support wherever it may fill or form, wherever that may be. Also, it's going to matter what the rest of the market does. Like S&P 500 we had a good PPI number this morning at 8:30. The market spiked off of that news. It has since sold off. So right now on the SPX, the cash market, we're currently testing yesterday's close. So there's downside pressure on the cash market today. So if you lose this support on the cash market intraday, then there's a chance the Tesla long won't work, right? It doesn't look like the bulls are going to win this out here, at least for now. For now, the bears are in control of the cash market SPX. So that's going to make us change our attitudes a little bit, right? The bulls are in control of your higher time frames, but right here, right now, as long as you're trading below 62.50, I like it lower. This isn't bullish price action right here. You set the high a day at the open and you've never been back to it. This is weak. Watch the VIX, guys. The VIX is back above this. See, this is very, very distressing. I don't like markets long if this is happening right now. If it fails and rolls back over like after lunch, I think you're probably going to see the rest of the day trade up. But if you look at this on a daily time frame, this thing is struggling this week. This is Monday. Monday we gapped up above the yearly open and traded and closed on the yearly open. That's where you closed. Yesterday we gapped lower, we traded lower, but then the second half of the day, what did it do? Up, closed above. So going into today, there's upside pressure on the VIX. You did not take out yesterday's low. This is a trending candle to the upside on the VIX. You took out yesterday's high. You gapped above it. We traded under it, but we could not take out this low. This looks like a reversal. So I would probably have a more bearish bias on risk markets based on that. So let's do this. Let me jump in a short here on the MES. I'm gonna go out 5 days. And if this holds, I'm buying a put. This ain't it. This is. So this VWAP holds, I'm gonna sell it because of what the VIX is doing. But this is gonna put some pressure on our longs on crypto, guys. Let me go back to the hype chart up there. Keep an eye on that. So I'm currently losing that trade on hype. See, this is I wasn't paying attention to that VIX. I should have been. But let's see what hype does here. That VIX data is delayed. Sorry, I'm doing something over here on my other monitor. That VIX data is delayed on that chart. So I kind of, let's see what happens here. Let me pull the VIX up on this where it's not delayed data. And I'll jump down to an intraday time frame. The yearly open is 1722. I'm gonna exit that long on hype. It's a $30 loss. I'm probably gonna exit the Fartcoin long also. We're trading at 1752. So here, let me show you. 1722 is the yearly opening range. So we'll put a line up there. At 1722. We'll make that yellow. Where's the properties? Perfect. Okay. So below this, I'm okay with the risk markets going higher. Above it, it's dangerous. It's very dangerous. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. It's an objective price point. It makes people do stuff. It's the yearly open. So it's a big freaking level. So people are going to be sweating the risk markets as long as the VIX is elevated. It's elevated above, anything above 15 is elevated on the VIX. So we have to be careful. And hype is breaking down here. So that's our intraday support. Remember what I said, if you're still holding that long, you should probably get out of it. I mean, if your risk is down here, you're okay. You don't have to get out of it unless you want to take a full loss. I don't like taking a full loss. VIX is rolling over and we are getting a lower push. We're at 1711. So I don't think that's going to do anything for the crypto markets though. And see, Fartcoin struggling at that weekly open. It's into a lot of volume here. Not a lot of volume up there, but I don't know. I'm not really loving this. And then hype is... Remember on hype, we're more or less watching that trend line down there. It's not looking great. You got front ran here. Let's give it a second though, couple minutes. What's Apple and them doing? Oh, Apple's up. Okay, so it's gapping up today. Microsoft is gapping down today. Nvidia is gapping down, but Nvidia had a big run. It had a big gap up last night. Huge gap up. Couldn't do anything yesterday, so there was some profit taking going on Nvidia yesterday. Nvidia is at an area that could act as support here. But I mean, after a big gap up like that, I wouldn't mess with this. I wouldn't buy it or sell it. It's one of those things like you could fill that gap and all this other stuff. It just had such a big gap up. Everybody got stopped out yesterday. You were looking at breakout traders were trying to buy this thing, seeing if they could get it upside continuation. And it didn't do anything. All right. A lot of profit taking happening on Nvidia. With an elevated VIX, that has me a little bit concerned that we might be seeing like a near-term top on some of these things, and that is concerning. Especially for Bitcoin, because like I said, I like to see when it breaks out, get upside continuation. We did get multiple days of upside continuation on Bitcoin. This whole week could just be a choppy inside week. We could literally just see choppy range-bound markets all week long. And the following week after that could be the opportunity on Bitcoin. Maybe that's the safer thing to do with an elevated VIX, right? It's been such a hard short. Bonk has, well, there hasn't been any downside continuation on it. I don't love shorting something that's got this much bullish momentum, but if it does cut loose to the downside, it could be a very, very vicious move. It's just got so much upside pressure on it. So let's watch 34.22 on Bonk and see if we get another retest of it. I don't know if we will, but if we do, let's see what happens with it. With the VIX being elevated, I could make a near-term short scalp on something like this, or maybe one of these other ones that are struggling. But right now the VIX is under 1722, so we don't want to get too bearish too quick. Thoughts on BMNR? It's a stock, Buster said. Yeah, APLD, or APLD, it's just not a very good trending stock. It might break out, but it's hard to tell, right? The Bonk has quite a bit of buildup up here, so we could be seeing that the Bonk could be topping out. Yesterday it didn't do that, right? At the very top, you didn't have a lot of buildup until you got later on into the day. But you can see we just got up here at 8 o'clock this morning, and you can see how much volume's up here. Now, obviously, if it's mostly sell side volume, that could trigger another squeeze higher. But if we're unable to close 5-minute candles above 34.19, we could manage our risk from that point for a downside trade. But the VIX is under 1722. So, like, you're not seeing cryptos shag to the downside, like move quickly here. Even hype coins coming up short for now. There's a lot of people trading Bonk right now also, so this would be one to keep an eye on. Like I said, if it does start to get that momentum to the downside, we could get a pretty extended move out of this. Let me put Bonk up there. I'll leave hype alone, let it figure out what it wants to do. Yeah, Bonk is currently trading under the last 4-hour candle's high. So this is also an area that I like to attack sometimes. Because sometimes the bears will defend that. Let's go ahead and ease into this with a very small position size. We can always add to it if it starts to go. All right. I can handle that. Okay. So we're going to watch Bonk here. If the sellers are in control of it, which it doesn't look like they are, clearly. But if they gain control of it, see what cumulative volume delta's doing? It's very bullish, man. Yeah, you're not even seeing any big volume come in for the ask. Okay, on the 30-second chart, we're seeing a little bit of it here. See, like that boom and then that boom right there, those two. Now, I don't love the fact that we got a big volume spike here and we didn't do anything on price. That's concerning. I can't do automatic because I have that VWAP up. This thing can rip, guys. It's dangerous. It's very dangerous. So go in small, please. Don't try to get rich today. You're just looking to make a couple bucks. Consistency and longevity is how you get rich. You don't get rich in one day. Consistency and longevity, and the VIX is kind of cutting loose to the downside here. It's starting to push a little bit lower, more aggressively. So that could put more buying pressure on these things. Oh, 35. The 35 candle will be the 5-minute close. It'll be right here. Shit. Excuse my language. And that will be the closing of the 5-minute candle. Remember, we don't want to see a 5-minute closure above 34.19. That's our get out point. VIX is 707. Yeah, the VIX is at 705. See what I mean? It can rip. Be careful. Don't put a lot of leverage on this. But that actually is going to put me in. And then I'll be quick to get out of it. Real quick. If it gives me a couple of these candles, I will jump out. The VIX is at 1706. It's starting to get pressure to the downside. If we see that, then the bull market will be more in tune and in line. We go look at the SPX real fast. Oh, it's tightening up here, right? So the sellers are trying to hit it. But it's the bullish side is putting pressure on them. We'll see who wins. See, this is the type of reaction we want to see here. Because that's where we're watching. That's our get out. Above this, we're getting out. We don't like it because it can fly. Liquidation on the daily high is way up there. So if we're closing candles up here above this, it's just too risky to hold the short. But bonk has been, like I said, it's been flying to the upside. Even when Bitcoin had a pretty bearish day yesterday, bonk, I like it. I like it as at least for a pullback. This thing has just been utterly bonkers. Bonk has been bonkers. I like that. It looks a little better. $34.19, and what I have up there is 34.148. So 34.14 is where I got the fill, right above that 4-hour high. Okay, VIX is back up to 17.18. That's nice. So that would put the S&P 500 rolling over. And that would help our short. It's not going to help our Fartcoin long, though. So we have a decision to make here on Fartcoin, right? Now, we could see Bonk roll over just because Bonk has exhausted the longs, because it's been going up and up and up and up and up and up and up for so many days in a row. And that's why we're looking for a short scalp on it. But if we get pressure above the 1722 on the VIX, that's definitely going to put pressure on these alts, right? This is an objective level. It's also daily supply. It's the weekly open, but on a technical basis, it's also daily supply. It's the same level that you have on Bitcoin, right? That's your short entry if you're looking for the short on Bitcoin. I don't like shorting things in a bull market. We're just looking for a pullback on Bonk. That's different. As long as it can close, but you can see it's like, right? Not really getting what we want to see out of this. We like to close lower, but in the context of a 5-minute chart, that's really nothing, right? That's not a rejection. A rejection would have some steam on it. That's steam. All right, then we see another one come in like that. That's what we want to see on a rejection. This is nothing, a nothing burger. We're not even seeing the sell side volume confirm the move. Like, your volume's going up. I don't love that. VIX has rejected the 1722. Gonna have to be quick to get out of the bonk short, because just it moving that much is a $50 move. It's hard to manage risk on it. It just moves so fast. Let's see what we get out of it. This is what I mean. You just don't see the downside continuation. You get a little tiny move in your direction and then it stalls out, right? Yeah. Even though we spiked up here, this is a rejection. It's under it. It's got to get up above it and then show us some steam up above it for me to like any short today. I don't love this close. Look at this candle right here. It would be so easy for it to do that right here. So easy for it to do that. Higher lows in here. And this was very close to making a higher high. We got 1, 2, 3, 15 minutes. It could not put in a lower low. VIX pulling back. S&P just put the point of control right there. So let's see what, yeah, if it can get that lower low. This is still threatening a move higher. We got the move we wanted to see and just no follow through, no continuation. VIX is at 1722. This thing's gonna rip. VIX rejected. It tagged 1722, backed off to 1719. This is pushing. Farcoin's up to 2% on the day. Hype rejected the lows. So Hype's rejecting the lows down here. You're still okay if you're holding it. If you didn't get stopped out, I don't know where you would put your stop. I know how I manage risk. I don't know how you manage risk, but this is okay still. It's very choppy. Bonk is threatening the shorts. It's at 15% up on the day, so there was a stop wick. It's the close we're interested in, not a wick. I mean, let's be honest, it doesn't look great. All right, so this will be our close candle. And it's pushing. So we're going to be very cautious. It's not looking great. See what I mean? Trying to bang your head against the wall, trying to short something that's not a short this is what you're going to deal with on a constant basis. This candle is closing above, and then you'll probably see an upside continuation candle from that based on where the midpoint is on this candle. So that's going to put me out. There's a higher high right there. No sell side volume in the delta. This isn't it is what it is. It's just not, it doesn't look great. Look at that 30-second volume delta. It's about to rip. We're gonna jump out of that. Leave that alone. Farcoin pushing up, that'll help us. But we did take another, that's $60 we've lost on the day. We made 420 though, or 410 from the unrealized volume on the Farcoin long this morning. All right, so that's okay. We're just gonna have to be very, very picky with what we are looking for here. See, this looks good. The shorts are not able to get that downside continuation. That means someone's soaking it up, or could mean that. It doesn't always mean that. Sure, you've seen stuff chop like this and then break, right? And this could also do it. Just because the VIX is going back down does not necessarily mean this one's going to go up, because every market is different. Your buyers and sellers are they're fighting this stuff out. Look at Fartcoin, it's stretching back to the upside here. So the sellers that are shorting the weekly open are under threat right now. They shorted here, they got their move lower, they even seen continuation, and they were praying to make a lower low, and it didn't. This is where they wanted to see the rejection, and then the break, they didn't get it. It was a higher low still. So the SPX, unable to make that lower low down there. So we're gonna buy a call on the SPX. We think that's all it's gonna do. Let's just get one. We can get out of that too if we need to. Take this one right here at the money. Because that's your VWAP test there. Did we get 10 points on that? It's still so freaking overbought. Not quite. You got an 8-point move off of it. They're just shy of 10 points. What's our Tesla doing? Ooh, man, looking good. Tesla looking good. Aussie and gold look decent to short with the news. I haven't looked at gold in a couple days. Let's look at it. It's still wedging up. I gotta wait for the break here, because I've tried to short it a couple times and it hasn't worked out to the downside. So I'm gonna give it a chance. This does look good. It looks like you're getting a rejection. There's a couple trend lines here. Let me get rid of excuse me. Okay, so this one is like, it's the secondary. The primary was this one. This one is a year-long trend line that starts from the yearly open, and it just encompasses all the wicks. Like, you haven't closed the daily under that, and you're working on it now. And then this is more along the lines of a triangle. This is testing the 21 for resistance. So you could be right. It could be getting ready to cut loose to the downside. But like I said, I've tried a couple shorts on this and they haven't gotten that continuation lower. But I mean, I like where your head's at. It could be either way, right? It could be a long or a short. It's as long as the risk markets are bullish, I like this lower, but only for a profit taking move, like a profit taking lower move. Let's see what we look like intraday. Well, see, intraday, there's not really a trade to take. The intraday trade would have been at resistance up here, but that happened at the London session. So it didn't really give the New York session an entry. I guess you could have taken the 8 o'clock short at 8 a.m. You could have just shorted the open of the 8 a.m. candle, as that was at a resistance. From here, You had one candle closed above it and then a rejection. So that candle's resistance, it also held here. So you could have shorted the 8 a.m. open. I didn't. So I'm not going to chase it now. You are getting that move, but it's running out of steam, right? You need to see this thing start to let go. You need to see a couple of these bad boys. If you get that, I think you're okay. You got 9 minutes on this candle's close. It did make a lower low though, so it is a trending candle. So I still like, the sellers still have the intraday pressure, right? But they've lost control of it for a brief moment. It does look good. It does look like you could see an extended wave lower here, down to like 30, 33.13, 33.12. But I'm actually gonna wait for at least. Hang on a second. You got 8-hour support here. That's what it is. So I guess it's still in the confines of this though. So even if you get this candle, this 8-hour candle, even if you get that expansion, you really don't have a breakdown yet. You know what I mean? So it's like, it could be getting ready to cut loose though. You could get an 8-hour candle that cuts loose and gives you that move. That would be beautiful, wouldn't it? If you're holding a short. Yeah. But are you going to get that? I don't know. That's what I can't tell you. As long as the sellers defend 33.31, I think you're okay. See, this candle's not even a breakdown candle. It broke down from this, but you're still in the range. You did just make a fresh daily low too. So this could be a liquidation break. The buyers can, this is why it's so like iffy for me to sell it right now. Let's think about the people that are saying, I'll just wait for a fresh low day and then I'll buy it. They got their fresh low day. And now it's stopping out all kinds of these aggressive shorts in here. This is too aggressive, man. There's no way I could short that. This is still shortable. I still like it. It's not looking great. I ain't even gonna lie. Wait a minute. You just got a breakdown on the S&P. You just made a fresh, wait, what is this? It's not a fresh daily low. Did you make a fresh daily low on the cash market? You damn sure did. Okay, so there was the move. It just happened. Boom. A little bit of trickery here, fuddruckery. Let's see if the buyers get it right back, because that's a fresh day low on the cash market. See, this is that garbage, that chop. 62.48. This is giving the sellers what they want to see. What's the VIX doing? Are we above 617.22 again? Come on. I don't like Tasty. I'm going to tell you that right now. Yeah, you got to gap up on VIX. VIX is a very illiquid asset, so it trades like that. That's a gap up there. So we could probably take that put, buy a put instead of a call on the MES. Like 5 days out. Let's see what happens with it. If it rolls over, we'll make a little bit of money. If it spikes back up and starts closing above the VWAP, then I'll just exit it, right? No point in holding it if it's going up. The sellers are trying to get downside continuation from yesterday because you made an all-time high. This was a fresh all-time high. And then a reversal on the day. So they're looking for continuation off of yesterday. That's what the sellers are wanting to see here. My problem with it is you're testing the July VWAP as support. It's not a deep enough correction for me to be a buyer, like to be like a huge buyer on it. Why did I just buy a call? I meant to buy a put. I bought a call. That was a mistake. That was absolutely a mistake. So we got 2 minutes on this close. Yeah, we're gonna fill that one and get out of it because that wasn't what we were looking for here. That was just an accident. They happen, right? Fat finger in orders. Happens. Barcoin right back up the weekly res or the weekly open and rejection again. Yeah, there it goes. Damn it, dude. How did I do that? Just not paying attention. That's a fresh daily low. Of course, I'm getting filled on the lows. Dumbass. Let's go back up to the bonk and take another shot. What is it doing? Because this bastard's up, yeah, 16% on the day. So if it's going to pull back, we want to be on that. See if we can make that $30 back on bonk. I'm going to leave the ES alone because I'm not getting good fills on it. Tasty's being a little bit of a bitch lately. Like I had a put that I bought 2 days ago and I tried to get out of it this morning and there were no quotes. Literally none on my option. In fact, I was the one that put the quote out. And then here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. But right here, there was no quotes in the ask. And I was in it. I was trying to get filled to get out of it because it was way in the money. By the time I actually got filled, it had dropped. That news came in and then they filled me and it was, yeah. Sorry, man. That's terrible. And look at the ask on every option around it. There was 21 here. So 21 people, or at least 21 contracts, but no ask. That is garbage liquidity. Bonk spiking. It didn't make a fresh high of day, so that's still under threat. Lots of volume coming in here. Let's see if the cumulative volume delta is still structured bullish. So that could get it going. Like if it got going to the downside, all those longs would start getting filled on the exits. But S&P 500 is not making fresh daily lows either. It made one fresh daily low and then right back up she went. Dangerous. Danger, real Will Robinson. ETH blasting. Is it? Yeah, it is. So that's probably not good, right? Because Ethereum is more risky than Bitcoin. And if it's ripping and up on highs like that, I have a feeling that I could have probably kept that call. Why is it ripping so hard? Was there news? I mean, that was the high of day. Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't short it. So Bonk is probably not going to roll over, is it? Yeah, if ETH is ripping, then I don't like the Bonk. I just don't like it. It's no. Can't be doing it. Can't be doing it. I think the shorts on the ES are probably going to get wrecked today. If Ethereum continues to go up, if Ethereum starts to rip to the downside, then I guess you could say it was just a stop run and it was a big one, because that's a lot. This is massive. So this is probably a short stop run, a liquidation event. You can still see upside continuation. If you got long earlier today or yesterday, I would hold it. It's working in your favor. You don't necessarily want to exit something that's working in your favor. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that can be said. It's a extended move, a nice big move today. Upside continuation. It looks good and bullish. That gives me hope for the longs for the rest of the day on like the fart coin that we're holding. That feels good. Look at that. Fart coin's giving us that 4-hour extension right now. Okay, so we got alts pumping. I definitely don't like the Bonk short. I should have held that call on the S&P. Because if the S&P was going to roll over, these things would already be sinking, right? Because the whole market would just be bearish. Usually the riskier assets are the ones that roll over first. Not usually, but we see it happen often. Bitcoin pamping also. Bitcoin just made a fresh day high. Yeah, I should have cut that call. And I got filled on a low day. Like a rookie. Exit on the lows. Freaking tasty. And I got good internet, so it's not my internet. It's their platform. Their platform is doing that shit. It's the micro ES. The ES gets good fills. I never get lagged out on fills on the ES with Tasty. I'm be fair to them, right? It is the micros, and the micros are very illiquid. And their bid and asks are usually like $1.50 or $2 wide. So it's like, there it goes. So the fart coin long is looking good. Looking real good. Upside continuation on the 4-hour. We're above old 4-hour wicks. But we could see a nice big rip today. So there's your last wick right there. Let's see if we can maintain this breakout. This looks good on the RSI. We got 53 minutes on this close. I don't want to see it give it all back. I want to see it close up on highs. Yeah, I like it. Looks good. Remember, I'm holding what I have left on it because I bought it down here for multiple 4-hour candles higher, not just one. I want multiples. I'm looking for the trending move. The 2-hour chart doesn't look great. It just doesn't. I don't like seeing this, but it is an area of resistance, right? We're still fighting with that. So I want to see it rip above that. It's trying to. See the difference in Bitcoin though? It gets above it and goes. Good call out on the Ethereum. I wish we would have seen it earlier. But, I mean, it is what it is. It's in this supply, but I wouldn't be shorting it at daily supply. I would wait for a test of that 2025 yearly opening range, and then you might scalp like a pullback, but you would take profits quickly. Like if you get 4 or 5 candles in your direction, that quick, like real quick. Because it just, depending on how much momentum this thing has in it, it could close well above it today, well above it. That would be like an outsized move. It would be like a 2x or even 3x standard deviation move, but cryptos can do that. The shorts get caught off guard or on the wrong side, like what has been taking place on Bonk for multiple days now. Look at how extended this is. But just look at what it did over here. So don't think for a second it has to pull back, because it does not have to pull back. The shorts backs are up against the wall. The buyers know that. Yeah, you can have just the momentum scalpers alone in this thing is keeping it going. Jumping on Momo. S&P right back up. So you get one nice move. See, this is to bring in emotion, literally. Trigger emotion, and then flip the switch on them. Gotta love it. Can't hate it. Gotta love it. What's our intel doing? Nothing. This thing doesn't ever do anything, does it? I can't believe I talked me into that. It's giving it all back, dude. It's almost giving it all back. Pepsi has earnings tomorrow morning. That's Pepe, not Pepsi. Pepsi's got earnings tomorrow morning. So if you're still holding that, it might be a good time to get out. If they have bad earnings, you're going to probably break that May low. Well, we can get rid of the May low and put July in. If you get bad earnings, that July low is going to be threatened. But if you get good earnings, you could also get the gap up. So it's a gamble. It's all it is. It's a gamble. But you got earnings coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, pre-market. Before the market open. XRP's up 2% on the day. Struggling to get any continuation going on the day, though. That's like pretty much a lot of things. Pendle retesting yearly open, trying to hold that as support. Or Penguin, not Pendle. I get Pendle and Penguin mixed up. I don't necessarily know if I could be a buyer on that because of the move it had getting there. And then there's Pendle. Damn. We were talking about this down here. Damn. It ran. It got well above the 23-cent target homeboy was looking for, too. Well above it. 33 cents now. Or 3 cents. And Fartcoin's still struggling at that weekly open. Sellers are just not giving this thing a break. It's choppy. It's moving up, but it's moving up very, very slowly. And then hype is held. Hype's a little bit extended too. But it is, at least it has been pulling back for the last 3 days. So if we see like a big rip on this, this one might be a long, it's retesting the area we bought earlier. So the sellers were not able to get that downside continuation yet. They're still trying. Tesla is trying to make a fresh daily high. Daily res on Bitcoin. It's got to close above that. Fartcoin's getting a hard hit right now. So is Bonk. The bulls have momentum though, so be careful trying to short it, guys. This could get bought right back up. I don't know that it will. I'm just saying be very, very careful. And then what's the VIX doing? Still chopping that level up. It's breaking under it. It's at 1720. Yeah, the buyers can buy this up. This is to invoke emotion. Right at daily res, like a perfect place to look for the short. Give them what they think, and then rip it right in their face. Oh. NVIDIA entry at 114 profit targets for longer term swing trade, weekly, monthly, or quarterly swing. What? Okay, so you want to look for a NVIDIA weekly, monthly, or quarterly. Dude, that was a good entry. I would be taking profits like for a swing trade, especially because you've been in it for multiple weeks. Your entry is 114. Yeah, I mean, come on. You can't expect much more than you've gotten, really. You're going on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 solid weeks of upside. To expect 6, 7, and 8 weeks of upside is getting a little bit greedy, don't you think? I mean, it can happen, of course, but there's really no way I can give you a level on this because this has just been one-sided since the lows in April. I could potentially give you even that won't be very good because there's no like real pullback here. If I was going to give you a fib extension off of this, yeah, it wouldn't be a very good one because you've never really got any pullbacks. You just traded sideways and then you win again, and sideways and then you win again. You've already gotten 2 legs. Oh my God, VIX just spiked hard. Short bonk. Where's bonk? Where's bonk? Bonk, 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 bonk. I'm shorting bonk. I don't know what just happened. VIX just exploded up to 1787. Hang on a second. Where is it? This is gonna be a news or something candle. Ooh. I don't have my news pulled up, but VIX spike. Boom. That's got to be a Trump tweet or something. At 11:18, you know what I'm saying? There's no news scheduled to come out at 11:16. So this is going to have to be some kind of news. So that's probably going to put a hurting on the fart. So bonk rejected. $17.95 on the VIX. Yeah, this is going to probably get a nice rejection here. It's 1809 on the VIX. Something's going on. Well, that'll probably give the market the volatility needed to break down for a little bit. Probably going to see, yeah, I mean, you're still stretching out up to the upside on the VIX. Yeah, be very careful here, guys. Oh, yep. VIX is up to 1830. This will be a buying opportunity if we get our gap fill on the VIX. $20 is what we're looking for on the VIX. That's our upside target. Okay? This is what we're looking for up here. So we're not going to look to be a call buyer until we get there. And the reason is this is a gap we are looking for the fill. And we know we can get a midpoint fill on this. So we're not going to rush the long, because when you have volatility spiking like this, you could get a bigger move than anticipated, right? But we'll keep this on watch for tomorrow, especially. See if we get a fill on this. If we get a fill and then it stops going up, we could then be a call buyer on the SPX. Because then we'll get a pullback, and that pullback could put us down in this area. That will be the first time that's happened since the April lows. So this was a Friday or a Monday, and you tested the low edge of the expected move. You didn't do that anymore. You got really close to doing it here, and then it was front ran. And then even closer here, but it was still front ran. So we're probably going to see it with this kind of volatility. I mean, the VIX is at 1850 now. 1850. 1867. We need a 20 or a 1930 would be a midpoint gap fill. I have seen midpoint gap fills hold. I have seen it before. I don't know that it will here, but I've seen it happen. But either way, this is a vicious spike. I would expect cryptos to fill it. I would expect cryptos to fill it. That is, of course, if it doesn't give it all right back today. Right? That's the thing. Does the risk market stop and turn around? Do they give all of this back by the end of the day? It is still in the context of a bull market. And this is like one of the deep, like we haven't really been seeing deep corrections. Haven't been seeing them. Like last week, you never even got below the open of the week. Didn't get below the open of the week just for a very short time here on this week. This week closed just under. So at any point here, you could get support. You got an intraday support here. I mean, that's exactly where you ticked to. Look at that wick. I mean, it's flawless. It's like perfect. Only time will tell if you get continuation. Oh, Bonk is trading under its own power here. It's not doing anything. It's like, nope, screw you. We're not going down. I would love to see this thing get freaking hammered today. It's up 15.29% right now. I'd like to see this thing close down 8%. But when you're in a bull market like this, like I said, Trump could take what he just said back later. Hang on, what about ENS short? I'll look at it here in a second. Where did news? Trump to fire Powell soon. Likely. Right. He's already stepping it back. Likely. So. Likely. We need to see, for sure, to get any continuation lower. But they stepped in, didn't they? They got their move. It's only down, the cash market is only down 22 points. That's nothing. That is a small, you're down 0.3%. This is not a collapse, it's not a crash, it's a spike. That's all it is. It's a spike of volatility. It's not even a 1% move, not even 0.5%. So be careful. Be careful shorting. Because this could be as deep as it goes. That's the July VWAP right there. Yeah. So that's what you need to see hold for any downside continuation. Barcoin's still up 2% on the day. If we start making fresh lower lows, or lower lows in the day's range, I might just exit the long. On the 4 hour, we do have a close coming up. 33 minutes on the close. I'm going to look at and just see how the 4 hour closes. Right? If this is a rejection, then this could be a bull trap. That's only if it closes as a rejection. If it closes strong, then I'm going to ignore the news. I'll ignore the news and I'll hold the long. What did that do for our... Here, let me just put the VIX over here since we're on this watch list mostly. And let's just see, did we get a midpoint fill? No, did not. Literally just liquidated that swing high over here. But it's a liquidation, so you don't have to fill this gap. I'm just saying if we did get that gap fill, that would be, in my opinion, a nice opportunity. But we'll see how the market takes this news. So far, crypto is not being affected at all by this news. Look at that. Zero effect. Zero effect on bonk. You're still at the highs of the day. About to make fresh highs of the day. So at least wait on that. Let's see what that does. That news might not be good enough to give us that downside continuation. VIX is back down to 1833. S&P's pulling back. I can't imagine the S&P only being down. This is so strange. The S&P 500 is barely down, 0.15% on an 18 VIX. What the F? That VIX is probably going to give it all back. I want to see what it does if it gets up into here. Bitcoin's still up 1.40%. No, Bitcoin's not reacting to that news either. Not yet. It's Bonk trying to push up and liquidate the high day. Crypto is crazy, man. Dollar falling spell bullish? No, it doesn't spell anything. The dollar really trades like S&P's really haven't, they've been trading kind of with the dollar. They haven't really been trading inversely to the dollar. They kind of been doing their own things, right, guys? Like, Yeah, the dollar's getting hit pretty hard today, but I don't see that as being bearish. Because they really haven't been doing anything. So let me find the DXY. Yeah, the dollar's getting hammered. So what's that USD JPY trade doing now? Okay. So tomorrow we'll be looking for shorts on the USD JPY because we're falling back into the range here. This is a false breakout. A false breakout. So I'll be looking for shorts on USD JPY tomorrow. That's only if we see downside continuation from, or like if the VIX closes up much more today. But I mean, obviously we're going to have to just wait and see what happens. But let's go back to the DXY and just pull up the two markets so you can see, right? That way you can see it with your own eyes that you really don't have any kind of divergences here. Right? So the S&P 500 was trading with the dollar back in April. Set the April lows, chopped sideways. Dollar made April lows, and then the S&P 500 had a big bullish rip. While the dollar traded higher to the 2024 yearly opening range and then rejected and then rolled over. So you were not inverse or the opposite, right? You're not trading inversely and you're not trading correlated. You're just, they're doing their own things. You're seeing a down day on these SPOOs, you're seeing a down day on the dollar. Like, yeah, I can't see how looking at the dollar would give you any edge on the S&P right now. VIX just made a fresh high of day. There goes fart. Bitcoin. Wait on Bonk to do that high day lick. Because you don't know how far the spike will be, right? VIX 18,981. That's a high day test. Fresh high day on VIX. Nice. And it's pushing. So I might short the bonk if it liquidates the high of day and rejects. I will jump on a short and just try to catch the downside momentum. I got to see some momentum first before I try it again. I got to feel very, very like strongly about it, seeing how I've jumped in it already twice. Now both times I took a small loss, but still, you know what I'm saying? High of day on the VIX fits a short side scenario here. But it's not really, this thing's doing its own thing, right? It's detached from risk markets. The sell-off in the S&P 500 won't affect bonk if people are just buying it hand over fist. So be very careful. How is Pendle? Pendle is rotating off the highs. VIX just hit $19. SPX is now down 0.5%. All right, I'm going to close the fart coin trade. I think this is probably going to affect it. So I'm going to take my $100 and run while I have it. I jump on that bonk short before it gets going. Maybe it might get going to the downside pretty rapidly. $19.34 on the VIX. Son of a biscuit. This thing's gonna hit 20, guys. So here's midpoint fill on that gap. SPX almost down to the bottom edge of the expected move for the week. We're not going to buy the momentum, right? We're not going to buy the downside momentum. We want to see support hold. It has to. It has to hold. Boom, Book of Meme, barely pulling back. Bitcoin's starting to pull back a little bit more aggressive now. The daily res is holding, but this is based on news. If that news hadn't come out, you would likely have not held there. Bonk. Starting to get a little bit heavier here. We're back down to that 4-hour high. We got 22 minutes on the 4-hour chart still. I would love to see this thing close out red. At least. What is that line? I forgot. Nothing. Oh, it was a 5-minute high. It was a 5-minute swing high. That's all this is. That's all that was. This is going to be your new 5-minute swing high. Come on, man. Get wrecked. Get wrecked. Gold up. There, gold short, not happening now. See? I'm glad I didn't jump on the short again because, like I said, I don't love it. I will like it if it breaks down. It's got to break down first. There's just too much stuff right now. Could it reject now? It could, but that's the 786 of the breakdown candle. So this is the weekly extension or the weekly fib retracement for the breakdown weekly candle. This is your third week. You're back above July's open. So it's not looking great. On a technical breakdown, this thing should have already took off. Look at how beautiful it tested that 786 there after it failed above here. Beautiful. Breaking out to the upside, nope. Gap up, wick to it, down. See, I'm not the only one that pays attention to stuff like this. Now, could it fail again? Yeah, because it is a liquidation. It's a liquidation above all the daily highs since. But what do you have right now on the chart painted? Right now, you have a huge bullish engulf. On the close today, if this ends up being a huge bearish engulf, that'd be something different. But as of right now, you've got a huge bullish engulfing as support. Bonk is literally failing to roll over. So they can't control Bonk. Bitcoin testing intraday VWAP, bouncing for now. Here's the weekly open. If the sellers are going to maintain control of Bitcoin, then I would expect them to do so from there. And VIX did that. So we're in a buying opportunity on the S&Ps. We didn't even get down to the bottom edge of the expected move. Today's Wednesday. This could 100% end up being the weekly low. You're still trading inside the weekly range. That's a higher low in the context of a bullish trend. They can buy this, guys. I promise. Don't be super bearish. Bonk is pushing up into Hive days. Bonk liquidated Hive day just now. So if it's going to roll over, it has to do it now. If it starts closing higher 5-minute candles, you're not liquidating and you're not breaking. So this is like your last line in the sand here for this thing. If it's going to roll over, it needs to do it now. Like there's no point to close higher 5-minute candles. If it does, then the buyers are still firmly in control. You're not getting your liquidation break. VIX all the way back down to 1860, but that's still a very elevated VIX. Not quite gap fill, but midpoint gap fill. So I'll give it for the rest of the day to see what it does before I make a decision on the S&P. Because with this much volatility, this thing could rip right back up. If we fail to see like Bitcoin rolling over or something like that, like if it fails to roll over or worse, starts making fresh day highs, then I would say your S&P's probably set the low of the week. That would just be my opinion. Obviously, I can't see into the future. NES short. Is that a stock or a crypto? It is down on the year, so it is weak for 2025. Oop. So that's one thing I like. It's very, very up on the month. So no, I mean, you're shorting into bullish momentum. You're trying to pick a reversal, right? That's what you're doing here. You're saying, I think it's going to roll over because it's up. July open. Oop. There's no bearish signal. Not for me. You're way above last week's high. This is strong. It's strong on the near term, not the yearly. Like if it gets up to that yearly open, then maybe it's a short. Right now, it isn't. Yeah, I mean, maybe you're just trying to pick a reversal. That's all you're doing. There's no technical analysis that's going to tell me to tell you this is a great short candidate. Nothing. There's no resistance. There's nothing. There's nothing to go on. You've got an old weekly res right there. I guess there is a level to go by. So, I mean, you can mitigate your risk from that point if you want to. Just make sure your stop is just barely above it. So that way you're not eating a huge loss in case. But there is nothing that says that this thing is weak or it's going to roll over from here other than that weekly level. But that's just a weekly level. You need to see sellers agree with you. Like, look at Bonk, for instance. Everybody that's tried to short this thing, how many times? They're still trying to do it. It's literally providing the liquidity to make it go up higher. So everybody that's been trying to call a reversal on Bonk, this would have been a good place to do it. It didn't do it ultimately. I mean, you could have made money on a short there, but it had to be a quick reaction short. And today, like, the shorts are getting wrecked. That could happen on the other thing as well, ENS. I've never heard of it before, but it's Ethereum name service. So does this thing have any white papers? I don't know what it does. Like, I don't know what the macro is on this. I don't know if it's a good buy, if it's a good sell. It definitely ain't a good sell, not yet. Wait for bullish momentum to slow down at least. If you're just picking a reversal from here, you got a daily supply zone or a weekly res, and that's it. Just two levels, but no bearish reason other than I think it's too expensive. That's usually what gets people in trouble. Right? I said, if this thing is going to reverse, just a liquidation above the high, and then it should go. It's not going. It's not going. So people are still buying it. You need people to stop buying it in order for it to go down. The sellers have to be in control of it. They're not. They're just not. Bartcoin is tagged the day open here. Came much lower. So that was where I entered this morning. Oh, Fartcoin got hammered. It gave every bit of its upside back. Every bit of it. I'm glad I took my money and ran on that. But it could be a buy again, depending on what happens with the rest of the markets. I don't know. I would probably wait to see what it does here, like this 4-hour close. Got 9 minutes left on it. This does look like a rejection here. And Bonk is making fresh daily highs as we speak. People love the Bonk. They want the Bonk. The Bonk's gonna go higher. Just give me all the Bonks. If the ETF does fail, or like they say no ETF on Bonk, I would say you'd probably be able to get into a short on this. But until that happens, I mean, clearly bonk sellers don't give a shit about Powell. Right? Clearly, they don't care. Bitcoin right back above. So that was some nice volatility that was short-lived. S&P still looked like you could see some downside continuation today, but we'll see. Trump likes to walk stuff back. Keep that in mind. He loves to walk stuff back. So yeah, we've been going for about 2.5 hours. I think we'll wrap it up. Let me go look at Apple real quick. In the same one at 21. Wait, so correlations change between assets. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Right now, like what's going on in the bonk atmosphere is people are buying it, clearly. Right? The buyers know the shorts' backs are against the wall, so they just keep buying it. And that'll just keep running it up. It won't be until the last person buys before this thing rolls over. Right? When that last person says, okay, I think I want to own bonk because it just never stops going up. When that person buys, bonk will reverse. But until that day, it can just keep going up. There's nothing to stop it. Nothing to stop it. Or unless whoever owns the majority of the bonks decides to cash out. Like if the majority of the supply gets sold, that will cause it to dump. But you need something like that to happen. Just because the VIX is getting a reaction doesn't necessarily think that this will. However, something like Bitcoin, it will react to market noise. Intraday volatility from news releases and stuff like that. Yeah, because Bitcoin is something that normal market participants own. It is more risky, but yeah, everything does its own thing. I wouldn't use correlations like the dollar to try to say, well, dollar's getting killed, so I want to be bullish. That's not transpiring right now. There's too many other functions, other macro scenarios and whatnots. People are investing for different reasons in different things, for sure. Get wrecked. Yeah, it's not getting wrecked. And then Apple. Yeah, it's not getting wrecked. I would leave it alone. Wait for it to get wrecked and then sell it. If you own bonk and you just want to cash out. I would cash out now. Cashing out on highs is better than cashing out on lows, right? Yeah, Apple's just having a standard pullback day here. Let me get rid of this fib as we don't need it anymore. When is Apple earnings? You got earnings coming up in July, this month, the 31st of this month. It looks okay. It's holding the July open. As long as the July open holds, I think it's okay. You're seeing a bit of a pullback today. This is probably going to be because of the Trump news, but I mean, he might have just came out and said, never mind, I was just kidding just now. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But that's a big bullish candle right there. Apple long-term goes up. I like owning Apple. It's not made fresh all-time highs yet. There's macro reasons why. But I mean, long-term, I think it's a very good company. They make money. They make a lot of money, Apple does. So I like it higher. It's still bearish on the year. So clearly something is affecting it. But it's pulling back and consolidating right now. So they could be waiting for earnings to break it out. VIX is back down to $18, guys. Boom. Look at that. Gap fill. See ya. They're gonna, yeah. So you're not gonna get a support build here. Just literally as soon as the one pullback and they jumped on it. Remember, when you're in the context of a bull market, you want to be a buyer when this happens. I totally missed it, but I'll wait. If it can pull back some, I might buy some calls. Because this is going to drag in all the sellers, and we're liable to see a 3 or 4 day run higher after this because of that. Yeah. You're back above the June VWAP, July VWAP. Be careful shorting shit in a bull market. Just let that sink in and then actually use that knowledge moving forward. You want to be a buyer in pullbacks. When the market is bullish, they buy it hard. You don't get very big pullbacks. That's what I'm saying. Like, you just don't get them. This thing is back to neutral on the day. Back to neutral on the day. 1778 on the VIX. Yeah, be careful. We'll wrap it up. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Make sure you guys trade safe, trade smart, and as always, happy trading, everybody.